fight, I have decent utility to keep my team alive, and I have cross-map movements, at least better cross-map movements compared to Flux, who will rely on the link.
So with that all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be jumping into the second match of today's Stream B between NIP Flash versus Flux Esports. We are jumping in to see how exactly this is gonna pan out.
Super excited. I mean, I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Especially, I mean, Flux showing that Link first pick just oozes confidence, right? We know that TNZ has played like Gilmore, he's played some pretty crazy aggressive picks. Martis as well. That was also a thing. We're seeing kind of the talents right now, the war cry on the TNZ. So easy to proc on a hero like Link for the extra 8% damage that lasts 6 seconds. And for a hero that wants to go for Sky Piercer, the extra damage is going to be very juicy.
Of course, very interested to actually find out from both sides it's actually going to look. Because one thing's for sure, whenever we're looking at JPL playing the Grog, get information. This guy will always be in the enemy's faces. But this time, things are starting to look a little bit different because it doesn't seem like he wants to go that aggressively because the early game of NIP Flash just can't really seem to supplement the amount of aggression that he would want in the early stages.
I think at the same time, you also want to keep the lane for Courtesy, right? Like, sure, the wave's going to be pushing in, but Faramis Ghost Bursters takes care of it very fast, so nothing much is going to be lost for NIP Flash. But now, they gotta get Courtesy his nether realm before the first turtle spawns. And Hades, he's already taking point there. And while he's doing that, TNZ is gonna start farming up more camp. Hopefully, it's gonna hit level 5 for the turtle, and yeah, it's gonna be a level ahead of Hades.
Challenging, yeah, definitely more challenging. Not at level 4 just yet, but they understood.
Yep. TNZ doesn't really mind too much. It's like, I can give away the turtle, but as long as I'm power farming and I'm getting my resources is good. In fact, even attempting to go for the invade on the jungle of NIP Flash, trying to take the purple buff away, but unsuccessful.
I guess quick little understanding as to where the Ling is. And it's all up to NIP Flash to figure out what.
Yeah, even the bottom lane, right? Some Trace Diablo basically winning out the lane in a very minor manner. In terms of XP, it's definitely ahead of Alien. And it's going to be a headache for Alien. It's the same matchup as Terisla into a Paquito, right? You just cannot match up the mobility of either the Paquito and the Benedetta, so it means Diablo will always have the liberty of moving first if he manages to control the minion
So
wave.
with that all said, we do have a little bit more of an aggression from NIP Flash in the river. Hades is always wanting to put himself first and trying to get himself more aggression in the top lane as much as they could. But Sunshine immediately popping the Purify, so now we know that not on Sunshine's Purify, as now Hades is still around. Another taunt.
What?
Top lane, as now they do have the Lecter Final Blow plus invades on the opponent's side, finds TNZ, focuses down to make sure the Testament of Blade has been used as well. Alien joins into the fray. Diablo gets himself out of the final hit coming in from the Alien's last shots, but Diablo, he's not gonna be going down just yet, because Courtesy, he is gonna be coming in with the nice little ult to make sure that Diablo stays alive.
Yeah, absolutely saving Diablo. Oh my goodness, Diablo was literally on the edge on his last leg, and Courtesy saved him. Big nether realm, NIP Flash taking the purple buff away from TNZ. At least TNZ didn't go down. He saved the Tempest of Blaze for the very last second, but Flux, bit of a blunder. Sunshine really believed that his teammates would back him up, throws his life away despite not having Purify. NIP Flash, this is where the turtle becomes a lot more valuable just because of what damage they've done to Flux.
Well, I mean, TNZ is still at level 8, so he do have that level advantage after all. But with the lack of purple buff, it's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult to work with. As now Hades takes the Lord, takes the he can burst down the turtle fast enough. Phoenix focuses on the Apex 47, brings him down almost immediately. But here we have another one when it comes down to the Shadow Stampede. Katizi pulls in onto Alien and subsequently brings him down with the rest of his team.
There's 5 kills for NIP Flash in 5 minutes. 3 of them on advantage. You could not have asked for a better start if you are a Moskov. Not only did you win the lane, not only that you're on a killing spree, you are ahead of Sunshine, who is on the clock. NIP Flash already establishing a solid lead in this early game. And that makes the life of TNZ so hard because NIP Flash, they're going to keep invading.
Yep, that is the power of this Grok over here, constantly giving information and is not even afraid of that of Apex 47. And yep, well charged, connecting on TNZ, and sure, you don't get the purple buff.
Well, Hades did have to use the retribution, the purple buff on the side of NIP. But one thing is for sure, completely away from his turret, which means NIP Flash, they're going to be able to take the...
Yep, and unfortunately Flux is unable to find any alternative trade across the map. Losing the top lane first tier defense turret, they can't find anything in the bottom lane as well, as they lost the first tier defense turret in the bottom lane too. NIP Flash definitely will be looking out for another kill or perhaps bring down the middle lane too. Apex 47 pretty much stuck. He's forced to use the flicker, but a spear of destruction connects down to Apex 47, allows Phoenix to go over to the front lines. And indeed, Alien didn't manage to put on a very big penalty zone, but because he wasn't able to do much from that point on, they don't have the damage.
Let's talk about Diablo and his Petrify. He electro final blows and immediately cancels the Blazing Duet with the Petrify, completely just squandering Flux's damage capability. If Sunshine had a bit more time to do out his ult, that could have been different. So Diablo right on the mark with his battle spell. NIP Flash looking for the third turn
I have
of the
to
game.
say that NIP Flash's Diablo may actually have a lot of job on his hands when it comes down to his Petrify.
What?
The electric funnel blow allows...
He got Sky Piercer,
It allows him
man.
to just go over to the backline so much, so he can actually look out for or to deal with Rosa or to pretty much deal with Sunshine. But for now, Rosa immediately pops down with the Feathered Airstrike. Was hoping he will be able to do much, but with no ultimate for this upcoming fight, things are definitely going to be bad. And the Nether Realm is just going to be popped. Katizi is just going to be losing out his Nether Realm by the hands of TNZ, but it's not going to be that big of a deal as Diablo with the electric final blow brings Alien down, and the rest of the members from the side of Flux now forced to move backwards.
And this is where we finally start to see the problem of Flux's draft. The glaring weakness, right? Is so one-dimensional. I press my ult, my teammates press their ults, we win the fight. But if we don't, we just don't have the resources to continue fighting extended fights.
In the meantime, TNZ was hoping they would be able to do something!
Petrify!
What? What was the Petrify? Out of absolutely nowhere, he knew he can bring TNZ down. And with that combination together with the wild charge, boy!
Wow! El Diablo in the house, baby! This man is clearly reawakened on his main stage. NIP Flash 9-0 over Flux esports, 7k gold lead. We gotta look at this replay because this was after 2 major ultimates were used by Flux, and NIP Flash knows that they've got Flux by the throats. Flux just does not have the resources to fight Diablo with a fat flank. They shut down Flux esports and they get more afterwards. Curtizi, 7 assists and a glowing one under his belt. NIP Flash in full control.
We're looking at close about 6,000 gold lead in favor for NIP Flash. And all of the money bags all around the Land of Dawn is slowly flowing over to the side of NIP Flash because they're just bringing down all of the available turrets that they can. They're trying to choke out onto TNZ with all of these buffs and making sure that he's unable to do anything at this point in time.
Oh my goodness, if only Diablo had Petrify, he would have 100% locked TNZ down. But still, Diablo completely out of control right now. They're gonna try and catch him.
Eye for an eye!
He blocks it!
Out of the implosion and fights
Oh my
back at
God!
Apex 47. What a play!
Diablo is on point today.
No!
What do you do? This guy is a monster. Even almost, he burst in the glowing one and the lethal ignition. This game is completely out of control for Flux esports. Still a perfect streak for NIP Flash. Lord in the hands of the Singaporean representatives. Looking to just put a mark on the stage.
This is one thing that no one would have expected. Coming into 10 minutes into the game, Fireflux not getting a single kill, a single objective, and everything has been one-sided over to NIP Flash. I mean, of course, it's still too early to say anything because we saw what Falcon Esports did to Cloud9. But would that be a repeat of what we see in this new series, though?
I mean, I said that Fireflux are the favorites. I stick by that, but I love to see upsets. But this one, NIP Flash, they came more than prepared. It felt like they're in a league of its own. Let's see how much damage they can deal with the first
they
Lord.
still have the holy defense that is available in every single one of these lanes. So how much push potential do they actually have all across the board, right? They are going to be catching on to the Alien. He did manage to put out that penalty zone at his final moments, though, as now Hades just going to be jumping in with a quick little taunt as well as putting 7 under the electro final blow. He manages to bring down Sunshine as well, one of the main core damage dealers for the side of Fireflux. They walked right in, casually just walked right in. They cleared the core, but they did manage to give Fireflux one kill, though. What?
Clean.
What?
Way too clean. I mean, Diablo, 100% my MVP for this game one. This guy on that Benedetta is just a swordsmith. Completely unchecked, completely undefeated, untouched. He is a shadow in the land of dawn. 14-1, that one last kill. Complimentary prize for Fireflux Esports. But goodness me, NIP Flash showing a side that I don't think anyone has seen before. Not even in the local league. Not even last year during M5.
No way at all. Like I said, in the regular seasons of MPLSG, they've just been toying around. We have no idea what is their peak performance at that moment in time. So coming in to fight against Fireflux, this is our chance to really understand how far they have become. What this dream team really is.
We say that this is their superstar era, and definitely they have proven that, right? Every single member on the side of NIP Flash pulling their weight, shutting down Fireflux Esports, identifying what is going to be the Achilles heels of Fireflux, and just putting a wrench in it, just stopping Fireflux before they even came online. I mean, Fireflux, the way they drafted, they had practiced this draft multiple times. They did not hesitate. But NIP Flash's response to stop them, that one, you have to really give props to them.
Well, definitely a big game for NIP Flash, and definitely a sigh of relief for many Singaporeans out there and people that support NIP Flash, because we all know at least how strong NIP Flash is in the local scene. But when it comes down to the international scene, how would that fare? In fact, this is probably the first time I'll say that Team Flash, or rather seeing Team Flash being able to win Fireflux in such a convincing manner.
Yeah, I mean, we even said that BO2 format is, you know, kind of the Turkey regions, how they run it, right? So it might favor Fireflux a bit, just by a bit. But NIP Flash completely defied that. Again, the fastest game we had so far up till this point, 10 minutes and 58 seconds. But you look at the stats, Fireflux, they get nothing. They literally get nothing this game. No laurels, no objective, no turrets. NIP Flash played this game to perfection.
To the T. 10, 11 minutes into the game, and they won the game outright with quite a bit of lead at that. 11,000 gold lead, completely made sure that TNZ wasn't able to do much with that link, right? So I think that this definitely did humble Fireflux a tad bit by telling them, don't pull off a first pick link against us because we are well prepared. So perhaps I think that for game number 2, Fireflux should be a lot more reserved and trying to find out how they will want to bring that X factor of their lineup into the game. Because if they drafted the link for the final pick, I think that the draft coming in from NIP Flash would be vastly different, and they might not be able to be that well prepared for a link last pick.
Especially when Fireflux Esports, they're going to be on the red side for game number 2, so they do have the counter pick potential, but they really got to switch it up because game 1, they kind of revealed an iteration of the draft, did not work at all. They need to change.
With that all said, we have match number 2, game number 1 that have just concluded, and we are gonna be cleaning up the battlefield again. You know, wipe a little bit of those blood, and of course making sure that the monsters are still gonna be there. Bringing up, erecting all of those turrets as well. So we're gonna go off for a short break, and we will be right back with you guys for game number 2 between NIP Flash versus Fire Flux Esports. See you in a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in. We have just witnessed the conclusion of match number 2, game number 1 between NIP Flash versus Fire Flux Esports, with an astounding victory coming in from NIP Flash with a 14-1 scoreline. And now the question is if whether Fire Flux will be able to bounce back after being humbled with that first pick Ling, which probably threw themselves off guard, I guess.
I feel like if I'm a supporter of Fire Flux Esports, I want to see them bounce back, right? Because that definitely is not the Fire Flux that we are used to. But I want to give you guys an update on today's schedule so far. Again, Stream A is running concurrently. We have Falcons AP brand. They got a 2-0 over Senyo Gaming in their first series. And right now, as it stands, we had FCon defeating C9 just now. Fnatic Onyx just took the first game over Team Falcon. And NIP Flash took the first game over Fire Flux Esports.
So, of course, when it comes down to the very first series of the day, it has been a 2-0. Now, the question is whether the second series of the day is going to be a 2-0 for both Stream A and Stream B. A quick little recap of what has happened in match number 2, game number 1 between Fire Flux Esports versus NIP Flash, with Diablo coming in hot with the Benedetta and very amazing petrifier plays that we have seen time and time again, being able to, number one, stop the blazing duet of the Claude just in time, number two, being able to stop the Ling right after coming out of the Tempest of Blades to ensure that he stays alive, and of course coming back with big hits, and time again also being able to stop Rosa onto the Farsa's feathered asteroids.
Yeah, I gotta say, Diablo's portrait is looking slick, looking hella slick with that fadeaway. You know, just give you a short glance before he sends you to the nether realm. You know, Diablo looking pretty fine and dandy after all these seasons. But yes, game 2, like I said, Flux most probably gonna be on that red side because they were on blue in game 1. I want to see changes, right? Changes in how they draft. Now they get the advantage of looking at the draft, at least a full draft of NIP Flash first before they go for the last pick, which means there's some room to wriggle around. There's some room for them to kind of plan for a pick that can give them an advantage, that can stop NIP Flash. But you have to diversify your win conditions, right? Game 1 was plain and obvious after the first 3 picks. It's all about pressing all ultimates at the same time, and if I don't win the team fight, I'm gonna get a roll over. That has to change.
And especially when it comes down to some of these micro plays as well that we have mentioned before, MPLSG for NIP Flash, they focus a lot of micro plays. They want to win in their lanes, they want to stomp their lanes, and thus being able to get themselves that lane priority to start roaming around and contribute in team fights time and time again. And that kind of seems like it was the strategy coming into game number 1. But if whether it's going to be the same thing for game number 2 remains to be a question. Game number 1 definitely didn't really quite shown Flux being the all-star team of the local Mlbb competitive scene in Turkey. So I truly hope that in this upcoming game they will be able to show us exactly what that means.
And they have only one more chance to show it, right? So the best they can ask for is a draw in this match. Faram is banned out. Flux still back on the blue side, which means NIP Flash are going to be on the red once more. Again, having the liberty to look at what Flux has offered in the draft. We'll see if that's going to be the case though, because I think if you are Flux, not only do you have to look at the conditions, the win conditions of your own team, but at the same time, you also have to figure out what makes NIP Flash click. And I don't think it's the Benedetta. I think it's what the Faramis provides for the team, right? Enabling NIP Flash to build a snowball on top of a snowball. Maybe taking out that Faramis is going to kind of put NIP Flash or put a doorstop on it, prevent NIP Flash from running away with the lead.
NIP Flash has always been very aggressive in the early game. As such, heroes that have very high lane priority naturally comes into mind when NIP Flash wants to play it hard. And as such, I'm pretty much expecting that if Flux in esports understands that, they will start to ban a lot more of these heroes that focuses onto early game power spikes, early game lane priority, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, what NIP Flash show definitely is that they have the capacity to kind of snowball a lead if given, and Diablo, he is just outclassing his lane opponents. It felt like it wasn't even close. I mean, it was a matchup thing as well, you know, Benedetta into a Terizla, but Alien just could not provide any impact thanks to Diablo's early shenanigans, you know, just incremental leads. And not to mention, even Sunshine was having a really tough time after the first death because he was just straight up punished by the combined efforts of Hades and Vanix. So a lot of things definitely didn't go the way of Flux Esports. I think that's something that we were looking at Flux Esports to be the aggressors, but NIP Flash, they completely flipped that script around.
And I gotta have to say, having JPL in the team definitely gave them a lot more of the information that they so much needed. Having a Grog that completely resists a lot of these crowd control, NIP Flash, they have a strong idea how they want to play the macro game too. Despite winning in lanes such as the EXP lane as well as the gold lane, they're very sustainable players, both Diablo and Vanix. The moment you give the two of them the power of the lanes, they are just going to be absolutely dominating the lane. And for Diablo, he will start to appear in all of these fights so often, especially when we are looking at Kha'Zix that is super consistent and hardly ever gives a lead over to the opponent mage. I would say that we are looking at a trifecta of a laning scenario coming from NIP
Yeah, absolutely. I think for NIP Flash, on top of that is also if they are playing kind of a draft that is self-sufficient, but at the same time they can always kind of back each other up. I think the one thing that we talked about in game one is kind of the cross-map mobility that NIP Flash have, right? With Benedetta, with the Moskov, and it allows them to not only play the map, but also pick Fireflux Esports apart, something that needs to be addressed. There's no one-shoe-fits-all solution, of course, but I think Fireflux can start to consider get priority for the mid lane first, because that is how you kind of unlocked assistance to the rest of the game, to the rest of your teammates.
So coming in, I think that the draft is more or less gonna be starting real soon, or perhaps we'll be getting that that information real soon as well. But coming into game number 2, I think that we haven't really quite talked about what Fireflux Esports is supposed to do, or what they should be looking out for. Like, what were their mistakes, or what is something that they gotta have to do better in order to win against NIP Flash in this game too?
I think conditions to win, as mentioned, you
Diversify,
gotta diversify your
more
your
win
wins.
conditions.
Yeah, win condition. But I think I think that's primarily it. If I have to nitpick, probably that early to mid game management did look a bit messy from Fireflux Esports. We did see them kind of really dropping the ball incredibly hard right off kind of the first blood onto Sunshine. So that also needs a bit more of polishing as well. But I can understand it's brought upon by the nature of their draft. So if game 2 is going to be any different, I think tank junglers fall back to something basic, right? A tank jungler that does not get affected too much if snowball upon, compared to a Ling. Have mid priority with your mid laner, and now that you know that Diablo has access to Benedetta and Paquito, maybe you want to go for a direct matchup, or at least go for a sandbag, right? The Arlet, Ruby, not that bad of a choice.
Or perhaps we could also see the Yuzhong coming in from Alien, right? Also one of the signatures for Alien, being able to really destroy lanes, and as such, you would be able to get that lane priority away from Diablo. Just keep Diablo in lane, and that is something that I would say would be important if they would want to win in these early game objective taking, right? In the meantime, I would say that Tigro might also be something that is a little bit one-dimensional, I suppose. It is, yes, indeed, a signature for Apex, and it has definitely worked before. But with a hyper-aggressive lineup from NIP Flash in the previous game, especially with with Eye for an Eye from Benedetta, for example, or with very aggressive, sorry, not aggressive, but with high mobility team comps such as NIP Flash's previous game, it's understandably very difficult for Tigro to actually do much work. If anything, it really relies on counter engage more than just engagements.
Yeah. I caught a glimpse of Diablo's screen just now. I think the Cho was picked up by NIP Flash. So this is going to be a JPL Cho for sure. There it is. Finally seeing it. So we got the Cho, Roger, Farsa, Arlet. We talk about it. I wanted it for Fireflux, but Fireflux is going to ban it out. So it is, NIP Flash on that red side again. In a Fireflux on the blue. We got the Harif, which was completely ignored in game 1, by the way. Picked up by Fireflux.
So we are looking at a first and second pick of the Cho as well as the Roger. Actually picking up the Cho this early is actually kind of surprising for me from the side of NIP Flash. Although I gotta have to say JPL has been rocking the Cho a lot in his previous days. I absolutely love to see that. It is a very obvious kind of game plan for JPL. He has one thing that he always go for is roamers that allows him to take to walk away from cloud controls so much of the map.
I mean, we see the Ruby being picked up by NIP Flash as well. This can still be a flex, right? I mean, Hades can play a Roger jungle and Vanix plays that Ruby Gold. So it's not really set in stone just yet. With having a couple of flexes to work with. Seems like TNZ wants to give the Ling another go. And we also have Aiden hovering over the Yuzhong. I definitely like the Yuzhong a bit more, regardless of matchup. So Yuzhong gets locked in. We get the Ling. Second round for the side of Fireflux Esports. But this draft definitely looks better than what we had in game 1.
I haven't seen Diablo playing. In fact, I don't even know which one he's actually going to be picking. But one thing's for sure, we are looking for the jungler over to the side of NIP Flash. At this point, yeah, they have a Cho, they also have the Ruby, so they have a way to really lock down someone in the opposite side and really just go for pickoffs. So I believe that this jungler that they have gotta have to be someone that can work as a battery together with the Cho in order to really burst that one person down fast.
The Bane! Oh! Wait!
Oh,
wait.
Bane,
I had... Is the Bane go? I've had this in my mind for the longest of times because Bane was popping up in certain regions. For example, like Cambodia, I think Myanmar as well. We've been seeing a couple of Banes, but if there's one region that wants to, you know, go a bit bonkers, I mean, MPL SG seems like the perfect breeding ground. So Bane for Vanix. This is going to be very interesting.
I've never seen that before for the side of Vanix. How is he going to fare as a melee hero in the gold lane against a Harif? Understandably, when it comes down to Harif, he's super strong in lanes considering the fact that Synchro Fission just outright pokes the enemies while also giving you a chance to wave clear. But one thing that Bane is able to do in the lane is that he's got sustainability. He's able to heal his HP back, and he does have pretty annoying poke abilities as well, which kind of takes away some of that lane priority that we know of so much coming in from a Harif.
Can't wait to see this game still kicking off. I mean, for the Bane, so one change that this patch did bring upon for one of the talents, aside from adding 2 new talents, is also Impure Rage, right? Now it no longer deals flat damage that scales with level. It deals max HP damage, a constant 4% max HP damage, if I'm not mistaken, which means the value just goes up. It scales way better into late game because max HP is always great. Some pressure onto Alien
does
also.
Seem like Alien's HP is going all the way down.
Goodness.
Diablo flickers in forward, and we have JBL coming in with a quick little help. That's Alien going down that early.
That is a straight up disaster. Absolute disaster. That should not happen with a Yuzong. Usually Yuzong is the one that forces you away, but this Yuzong got first blooded, right? He had petrified, there's no way of running away. Yeah, I mean, Diablo absolutely cycled him. This mind game's too strong. Wow.
And okay, so we know that there's a winning lane in the top lane for now, right? In the end, even if Yuzong goes down, he can still come back into the game pretty early, pretty fast, and he will be able to catch up in terms of gold and EXP in just matters of time, because Yuzong just doing Yuzong things, right? But NIP Flash, we are looking for that information, and you see, take a look at the minimap. Cho is constantly just mirroring where the opponent's roamer is going. He's constantly just giving information to the rest of his team, so that whenever NIP Flash goes for the gank, they know if whether the Grok is gonna be there or not.
And JPL is doing a very good job just, you know, as we call it, manning Apex 47, like making sure that wherever this Grok goes, basically, right, just playing tag, the man-to-man defense from NIP Flash, and also tracking what Tianzi is going to be. Ideally, you want to force him to use the Retribution to secure a turtle for your team. We see JPL. He's going to hit his ultimate soon and making sure that he delays this as much as he can.
Not sure if whether he will be able to do much in the bottom lane, but for now, top lane though, KTZ did manage to use the Feathered Airstrike, did manage to do a chunk of damage away from Alien, but no, quick little Terrify, ensure that he will not be able to do much, and it's Rosa with the Feathered Airstrike stolen away from KTZ. They managed to bring Hades down into the ground, facing flat. With a 1:1 scoreline right now, the turtle is currently available for Fire Flux to take.
Incredible save by Rosa, and the Stolen Feather Airstrike combined with the wild charge from Apex 47 as he hit forward on time to take out Hades. So Turtle still open up, but the flicker from Rosa actually gets him out in a flash. That could have been deadly.
Now I'm just really looking out for the battery between Cho and someone else. I'm not too sure if whether NIP Flash have that potential to really burst that one person down in the early game, even if JPL has managed to isolate this one player. So that is probably my only concern for NIP Flash. No battery, no bueno.
And I mean, this is a way better start for Fire Flux, right? Stolen Feather Airstrike used just to clear the wave. So NIP Flash, they definitely are not gonna have the snowball that they, you know, kind of experienced in game 1, and Apex 47 forcing Vanix to go for an even bigger rotation, which means And the plating on this bottom side is gonna go over to Sunshine. I mean, Vanix is already put behind in terms of experience as well. So I mean, you can see that this Bane into Harry matchup not really the best. Vanix holding his ground pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
game so far.
Yeah, when it comes down to theory, I thought that with the sustainability from skill 2, he should be able to kind of stay in lane for an extended period of time while still being able to poke the Harif as much as possible while still clearing out the wave a tad a little bit. But doesn't seem like he's able to get close to the waves enough to really do anything anything good to the Harif.
Hades shows up, right? They find Apex 47. That's the wild charge
use.
And the flicker.
Wait, that's not a flicker from Diablo, though. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, a flicker from Apex. Okay, my bad.
Flicker from Apex.
So, at least they did manage to take that flicker away from Fireflux. So, they are pretty much in a pretty good stance for the next total fight, which is coming up in about 35 seconds. While NIP Flash is posing themselves down in the bottom lane with putting JPL. I believe that he already used his way out of the dragon, but immediately after that, Sunshine popped off with the Purify to ensure that he's not going to be caught out that easily.
And no watch out for Apex 47, unfortunately. Did get the Purify out of Sunshine with the way of the dragon. That's what NFP Flash wants to look for, right? Some crucial resources for Flux esports, making sure that they are always lacking something. For TNZ, amping out the tempo.
Immediately just jumping in to try to steal away the purple buff, but the Tempest of Blades just lands on top of Hades, brings him down almost immediately. And NIP Flash losing control of their jungle. Katizi forced to go for a flicker to get himself away from the hands of Alien.
Even Vanny's getting finished off down bot as Rosa and Sunshine work together to take him out. All things considered, Diablo did get the top tier 1, so NIP Flash, they might have given up a couple of kills and eventually the second turtle, but they're not too far behind, I suppose. Fireflux, you can see that, you know, when you have multiple win conditions, when you have heroes that don't necessarily have to be together, they're self-sufficient, this is what you can achieve. It's a more comfortable early game.
An easier game to play, I would say, if you have side laners that just naturally win in the lane. And you just have to execute your game plan as per your trading. So Fireflux definitely do have the luxury of doing that. In the meantime, JPL tries to go for an engage onto Rosa, but unfortunately wasn't able to do quite much, as Katizi, being the anchor of the team, popping up with the Feathered Airstrike, essentially saves the rest of his team, allowing them to run back to the first tier defense turret.
Apex 47 even cancelling the recall of JPL. You see Fireflux esports are definitely slowly but surely getting the lead. They're turning their attention to the top side, so that tier 1 is 100% going to fall. And if you Flash, they need a lot more time for Vanix and Hades to skill up. And Fireflux are trying to kind of shrink at that time frame. Don't want to let NIP Flash have
a way better game for Fireflux esports. They definitely have a better grasp of the game now, especially since TNZ is able to farm pretty effectively. In the meantime, Rosa down the bottom lane finds himself taken down, and the rest of NIP Flash seems like they really wants the blood of Apex 47. But I don't think that is going to be all that simple though, as Alien's just going to be hiding around the brushes. But I don't think that they will be able to catch anyone, except for the fact that Diablo with the quick little armor fended onto Apex 47, but not enough damage to really do anything good. Yeah,
not yet at least. I mean, NIP Flash, they got the kill to Rosa, so that's good. I believe the kill went over to Kurtizi. Even see Alien in the mid as well. JPL was fishing for a kick side against it. NIP Flash, I think they don't really need to rush.
Immediately with the armor fender, did manage to collect down onto Alien. And the battery of having the Feathered Airstrike being used to make sure that they bring Alien down. I guess that is one of the batteries that we can look out for, but is after all going to be an ultimate that's being used. As now Whale Dragon connecting on TNZ, Hades takes down the Ling, and they have also managed to steal away the purple buff. The next one on the chopping block, they want to go for Rosa, but Rosa, he did manage to steal the armor fended onto Diablo, and he did manage to connect onto that, allowing Harif to drop down the Zaman Force, brings him down. But NIV Flash, they're not going down without a fight, as Vanix and Katizi joins into the fray and immediately take him down. That puts Fireflux with 3 men down, and NIP Flash have got the Lord.
So much damage from Vanix. Flickers, Deadliest Catch, and a crab wall cannon. Even a passive splash in the face of Sunshine, who evaporated just like that. And NIP Flash getting the first Lord. Lead now falling towards them, and this is a It's a magic bane. You get a Holy
Bane.
Crystal Lightning Truncheon. No wonder Sunshine evaporated just like that.
That explains. Having a Mage Bane onto their side. Boy, oh boy. Definitely a lot more annoying to deal with. So now, now Firehawks, they really have to do quite a lot of itemization to really work with that. Now, looking at that. Boy, oh boy, the deadly catch. Indeed, real deadly.
It just rips through Sunshine. I don't think Fireflux can hold on to this tier 1 anymore. Not with the Lord on top. JPL is going to continue to look for some angle. In fact, he postures himself in that pixel bush just so if Fireflux shows up to defend, they can get even more picks. NIP Flash setting themselves up for success.
But it may be a little bit too early for us to say that, as I'm pretty sure that Fireflux, they are posturing themselves for something. But Vanix gets a kill down on the alien with the big help coming in from the side of JPL to really go for the catch. Unfortunately, Hades is just going to be suffering a fate similar to Alien. But Sunshine takes a kill down on the Vanix. JPL focuses himself onto Sunshine. Oh!
JPL! All things considered, Fireflux only losing Alien in the process. We felt like, well, good counter engage from Apex 47 once more with the Flicker Wild Charge to disable Hades and Vanix in that fight. But I gotta say, Vanix's damage is out of this world. Almost two-shotting Sunshine if he didn't have the extra shield from the Chrono Dash. But at least Fireflux esports still keeping the game even.
Jumping onto Kurtzy, but I don't think that Kurtzy will be that easy of a kill. But now the Wild Charge misses out on the Diablo. He will be able to clear out the wave just so easily. NIP Flash managing to defend their middle lane first-tier defense turret.
The fact that NIP Flash didn't even get top tier 2 is good news.
And now JPL with a dragon connecting on Rosa. He does have I'm offender though, so look out for that. As now we have Sunshine with the furious dive, manages to connect on the 2. As such, JPL and Diablo is gonna be taken down while Alien puts himself in the black dragon form, really zones away the rest of NIP Flash as they say, we are done, we've got the 2 kills that we need.
NIP Flash getting a bit impatient with their plays. JPL went for the kick, but unfortunately his teammates do not have enough damage, and they even ate a Petrify in the face as well. So, I mean, NIP Flash got to slow down a little bit, right? Vanix has a lot of damage, but he still, at the end of the day, needs to get up close and personal. Fireflux esports taking control of the map, but NIP Flash at least still have the mid-tier 1.
And because of the mid-tier 1, I think that is a lot more difficult for Fireflux to really take control of the river at this point in time. Well, Dragon connecting down on the Rosa, and that was a pretty fast kill. I would say that the Vanix with the Mage Bane is the battery of the show because of the massive amount of burst that we weren't expecting at all.
Some people might not realize, but Cho got a slight buff on Jit Kundo. It covers a lot more distance with his dashes right now. That's why JPL moved across half the screen with his full combo.
Pretty scary, I gotta have to say. But now the Black Dragon form emerges. The Apex 47 emerges as well. What was that deadly catch? What was that damage? And now TNC hoping that he'll be able to run away. He will not. But the Lord was taken by Fireflux in the end. So that is a little bit of consolation. But unfortunately, there's only Rosa available to defend against this middle lane raid. Will Rosa be able to stay alive long enough though?
I don't think they can keep this alive, fortunately. For the airstrike as well.
But he did manage to get that kill. And even for the Lord, he's going to be bursted down almost immediately. Alien and Apex 47, they are going to be back here in the Land of Dawn. And NIP Flash understands that this is as far as they can go. Taking the inhibitor in the mid, that's all they want.
This is a negative net gain from a Lord. You get the Lord, but you lose it. You lose an inhibitor, and I don't think they can even get the top tier 2 because Diablo is gonna clean it up in a flash as well. NIP Flash almost 3k a hit. Definitely not the big lead just in like game 1. In fact, top tier 2 eventually did go down as Diablo didn't have enough damage to clear it out.
Oh
but Vanix,
my
goodness, he is online. This man.
What items? My goodness. We don't see Mage Bane all that much. So honestly, having to see him on the stage right now and the massive amount of damage that he's able to deal to the rest of the members of Fireflux, that's definitely very scary to see.
Incredibly scary, in fact. NIP Flash getting a bit of control of the game already, and the fact that mid inhib is down is a big deal for Fireflux esports. because now the side lanes are going to be a lot more threatened. Top tier 2 goes down. The conceal from Fireflux not bearing any fruits. Rosa just got the blood wings, but N9P Flash is setting up for an ambush.
I'm thinking about one of the new item change, Fleeting Time. Would that actually make any sense for Vanek to pick up? Because we know that daily catch is pretty non-scary after all. But for now, Katizi with the feathered airstrike did manage to get a kill down onto Rosa. That is one of the main core players from the side of Fireflux esports has taken down. The second core player, TNZ, is also down. But it is not all sunshine and rainbows for NIP Flash, and it is a 2-for-2 trade after all.
I gotta say, the magic burst damage.
JPL catching down on the Apex 47, but I don't think that they have enough damage for all of that at all. He immediately Jikundo, or rather, Shumpo himself out of that. Sunshine looking to get the final kill on a JPL, but the main fight was actually onto Vanix because he focuses down onto Alien, brings him down, and the zoning wasn't able to do much. But Apex 47!
Wild charge!
Oh, big wild charge coming in, being able to ensure that JPL and Katizi goes down, leaving Vanix all alone. Apex 47, the man!
Absolutely savior, Apex 47. Literally saved this team. NIP Flash did not expect him to still be in that bush. And this not only kind of balances out the skill, Fireflux esports, but also opens up Lord possibility for them.
Oh boy, 14:16. Let's look at things in the grand skill, right? The grand scheme of things. We have a total of 1 Lord that's taken by the hands of Fireflux and 1 Lord taken by the hands of NIP Flash. But this is quite literally what we want to see from Fireflux. All the adaptability that we were talking about. Apex 47 going with that wild charge. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Even Apex 47 just got the immortality. So second life, the second Lord granted to Fireflux esports. Of course, NIP Flash, they gotta kind of look out a little bit, right? Like, you have better airstrike, you have a lot of damage, sure, but all your damage dealers are pretty fragile. Like, if TNZ gets his hands on you, if Sunshine gets on top of you, if you get crowd control by Alien and Apex, a lot of things to consider for NIP Flash. You can't just go for the cookie cutter play of I pull someone in with the I'm offended and hope to burst them down without any repercussions. It just does not work like that.
In the meantime, as the Lord postures itself up in the top lane, the rest of the members from Fireflux focuses onto the middle lane because that's the only tier 1 that's available. In the meantime, we do have the wild charge coming from Apex 47, but the Crown did manage to make sure that Vanix is going to be A-okay for now. Diablo walks away with not a lot of help to work with, but never mind, because NIP Flash, they did manage to take quite a lot of ultimates away from Fireflux. In fact, 4 ultimates. While NIP Flash, they still have quite a bit to work with. Most importantly, the Way of the Dragon.
Yeah, the fact that Vanix saw particular incoming gang and instantly Winter Crown before the wild charge was even remotely close to him. Him staying alive is very crucial because he's one of the main damage dealers that's going to help de-push the lane, and look at that. Oh, Lord JPL
flickers out, but TNZ, he did manage to ensure that JPL is taken down for now, as now we're just going to be looking at Alien, just going to be connecting down onto the rest. Diablo and Vanix is just going to go back for a tad little bit. They did manage to bring Apex 47 down. Sunshine, before backing off completely, he manages to take away the inhibitor turret in the top lane, but Katizi with a feathered airstrike, flickers forward to do additional damage over to the side of the Harif, but now the Winter Crown connects down onto Sunshine, but unfortunately it will only keep himself alive for a tad bit longer, but he still goes down in the end.
What a call from NIP Flash. Katizi committing his flicker just to cover more ground with the feather airstrike, telling his team that, guys, we can go, we can beat them. Takes out Sunshine and Alien in the process as they did not have the battle spells or did not have the resources left. So NIP Flash clapping back, both teams losing an inhibitor. I don't think NIP Flash can end the game, but they can definitely do some serious damage.
At least try indeed. Tempest of Blaze is going to be used. We do have the deadly catch that unfortunately did not manage to connect onto anyone. They're just going to be focusing down, but unfortunately that is going to be the wall charge that's going to be connecting onto the main front lines. And such Hades is going to be taken down, terrified on the Diablo as well as Vanix. But now the Winter Crown is going to be used from the side of Diablo, only leaving him alive for a tad little bit longer. Katizi hoped that he'll be able to stay alive. He pops in himself his own Winter Crown, but that pulled Alien backwards just so that both Vanix as well as JPL will stay alive a little bit longer. It's time for Fireflux to clap back.
Critical mistake from NIP Flash. I'm not really sure what the calls were, but that definitely was not an endgame angle. Not with Rosa around, the terrified crowd control. Oh, so important to stop NIP Flash from dealing more damage. They try to kind of blitzkrieg the crystal, but end up giving up their life, and even worse, might end up giving up this Lord as well.
It's unfortunate for sure. The greediness from NIP Flash thinking that they can really end the core like that. didn't really quite... I'm pretty sure that they expected Apex 47 with that wild charge, but probably not exactly that well prepared for it. As such, losing so much out of all of that, this is definitely a really tough pill for NIP Flash to swallow, as the Lord, the 18-minute Lord, will now be granted over Fire Flux to fight for their cause.
Yeah, the third Lord of the game for Fire Flux. So far, all the Lords were uncontested. NIP Flash, they know that they had to give it away and just play from behind. And this is the opportunity for Fire Flux to potentially crack open the entire base of NIP Flash or even look for endgame angle. JPL needs to catch up his life.
We're just waiting for that perfect opportunity. But even if JPL did manage to go for the catch, the question is always if whether Vanix will be able to burst that one person down, or if Katizi will specially use his Feathered Airstrike just for that one-man catch. But looks like the answer is to use the Feathered Airstrike to wave clear in the middle lane as they prepare themselves for the Lord to push up in the top lane and the Mega Creeps down in the bottom. This is definitely a lot tougher for them to even recover from.
Staggered wave as well, so NIP Flash.
What was that from Diablo? They did manage to connect down on the two-person, but they didn't really want to go all in for that. NIP Flash playing things a little bit slowly to ensure that they bring down the Lord nice and just pretty much just going out for that. In the meantime, Katizi is just going to be popping out with the Feather Airstrike while Alien pops off with the Black Dragon form. Boops away that ultimate from the side of Katizi, but unfortunately out of all of that, Fire Flux did lose TNZ and NIP Flash is just going to be running it down onto Alien as now JPL manages to land the way of the dragon right on top of him. I don't think they will be able to connect anymore from this point onwards. So NIP Flash, they're just going to be running in middle lane without Alien and TNZ. This might be the chance that they are looking out for.
That could be the second win. Can Rosa do it again? Just slowly, I'm offended.
It needs to be a big catch. It needs to be big, but now the deadly catch is just going to be tossed right out. Rosa did manage to connect on quite a lot by Hades. He focuses on the core. NIP Flash clinches a 2-0 victory away from Fire Flux Esports, the dream team of Turkey.
Unprecedented performance from NIP Flash. Game 1 was dominant, Game 2 was scrappy,